In today's video, we're going to take a dive into the February 2024 housing market update for Cedar City, Utah and the greater St. George area here in southern Utah. We'll take a look at the trends year over year to see how they compare, and then we'll also take a look at where home prices are headed as well as where mortgage interest rates are headed. So if you have been considering buying or selling a home here in southern Utah, this information is something you're likely going to want to stick around for so that you can decide if it's the right time for you. If you do find that it's the right time for you to buy or sell here in southern Utah, my name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group and I would love to help you out with that. You can find my contact information down below in the description. Please feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. Now, before we jump into this, I should note it is the February 2024 housing market update for Cedar City, Utah and the greater St. George area in southern Utah. However, we are looking at data for January year over year, and that is because it is February 1st, 2024, so it is our February update. However, we're looking at data for January up through January 31st. So it is the most up-to-date information currently. All right, let's jump into this market update. Now I have jumped into some slides because I am a visual person. Of course, if you've been around for a while, you know that. I like having something to look at. It helps me learn. Hopefully it helps you too. So we'll start with Cedar City, Utah first, then we'll jump over to the greater St. George area. I want to take a look at the median sales price first. Median sales price means that half of the homes sold for less than this in the month of January, half of the homes sold for more than this in the month of January. We have all the way back to 2018 just to kind of give you a comparison of that year over year trend. But you can see in 2023, it actually took a dip. That was the first January after those mortgage rates really started to increase, and things went down quite a bit here. We were up over 400,000 for our median sales price in 2022. Now you can see for January 2024, that median sales price has started to appreciate again. We aren't quite back to where we were for the median sales price in January 2022. However, we are pretty close there. We're sitting right around $400,000 for a median sales price here in Cedar City, ending the month of January 2024. Now we'll discuss why this is as we take a look at some of the other trends as well as the mortgage rate. So make sure you are staying to the end so that you can get that. Now our absorption rate, remember this is how long it would take for all of these properties to be absorbed if no new homes were to hit the market. And this is a month's supply. So right here is going to be about 2.5 months supply. Right here is going to be about 3 months supply. Now you can see that it's pretty comparable to what it was pre-pandemic. We saw 2020 went up a little bit in months inventory, but it tends to hover right around that 2.5 to 3 months supply for Cedar City. So that will be an indication of how our market is going to look moving forward. Now days on market, this is how long a home is sitting on the market. This is probably the most unique one here for this month because 2024 saw our home sitting on the market for almost 75 days. That's the median days on market. So half of the homes were less than that, half of the homes were more than that. But that really is quite a bit more than what we saw last year as well as pre-pandemic. So this number here is really pretty interesting. We're going to take a look at why that might be as we jump into some of the other slides, but that's something that I wanted to note there. Now, as far as new listings, active, pending, and sold listings for Cedar City, this is what we're looking at January year over year. In 2024, our listings did go up from last year in 2023. We got new listings than we really have over the last 5 or 6 years. So that's a good number there. We want new listings coming to the market because that is going to help kind of stabilize those home prices. Now you'll see that active listings actually went down here in January year over year from 2023, and that's going to be because our pending went up. So we had a lot more homes go into contract in the month of January, which is what brought down those active listings, even though we had more new listings come onto the market in January than we typically do. Now for sold, this one is lower. This just means that we had a lot of people go into contract in January. However, most people try to close at the beginning of the month because you usually skip a month when you go in to make a house payment. So let's say you close today, it's February 1st, 2024. Your first month's payment won't actually be due until April 1st. However, if you were to close yesterday on January 31st, then your first payment is going to be due March 1st. So essentially, you're pushing back that month's payment if you wait and close in February. So it's really dependent on when these homes went into contract. But that could be why that number is a little bit lower here for sold listings, considering our pending is so much higher than last year in 2023, but our sold listings are lower than they were in 2023. So something to think about there. All right, let's take a look at St. George, and then we will jump into where home prices are headed and where those mortgage interest rates are headed. For St. George, our median sales price actually went up quite a bit from 2023, and it surpassed where it was as a high in 2022. So we really saw a great increase in the month of January 2024 in St. George. St. George has been a very growing market. It's grown quite large over the last several years, and so it would make sense that it would dip last year in 2023 as we saw those mortgage interest rates going higher and higher. However, as everyone has gotten used to those mortgage interest rates, they've gotten used to what the market is doing, and it's kind of stabilizing a little bit. People are jumping back in, they are getting loans, and they are purchasing homes again. So you can see in St. George, people are coming back to the market. The median sales price was around $575,000, $580,000 for the month of January in 2024. Our high in 2022 was around $525,000 for the median sales price. So we have gotten that appreciation back as far as the median sales price goes in St. George. Now, as far as the absorption rate goes for St. George, it's higher than it was pre-pandemic. We're up over 3 months supply of housing. It's lower than it was last year, which is likely why we're seeing that median sales price start to move up, but it's still higher than it was pre-pandemic, and it's so much higher than it was during the pandemic. So something else that we want to take a look at there. Now, as far as days on market goes, this one's pretty comparable to what it was pre-pandemic. We're sitting right around 38, 37 days on market for the month of January in 2024. It is down from what it was a year ago in 2023 by about 12 days or so, quite a bit higher than it was in those pre-pandemic years. This is a good indication that the market is stable. It's not going to shoot up crazy, but it is stable and things are going to continue to appreciate. So if you're a seller, that's great news for you. But if you're a buyer and you're thinking those are going to drop significantly, I wouldn't plan on it right now. Of course, keep watching, keep coming back to the market updates, but be prepared to jump on it when the time is right for you. Now, as far as new, active, pending, and sold listings in St. George, you can see our new listings year over year were slightly down from what they were in 2023 in St. George. Again, I have the last 5 or 6 years up here for you to see and to compare to, but I'm going to take a look at January 2023 to 2024 to really give you a comparison of what it was from last year to this year, and not really pull in our outlier years here in 21, 22, but they're there for you to visually see. So again, our new listings are slightly down from last year in the greater St. George area, as well as our active listings. Now, having less new listings on the market, having less active listings on the market, that's why we see that median sales price going up, because there are not enough homes there for the buyers that are out there looking, and so that starts to drive up that price. Now, as far as pendings go, that is up from what it was a year ago in 2023. Sold listings is also up from what it was in 2023. Again, we're not back up to what we were pre-pandemic or during the pandemic, but those are going up there. So you can kind of see how all of these work together to give us a picture of how the greater St. George area is doing, as well as Cedar City. Now, what does this mean for home prices and where are those headed? You saw the data for Cedar City, you saw the data for St. George. You can see that it's pretty comparable to pre-pandemic, give or take a few numbers. And you can also see that the median sales price is going up in both locations. But how much can we expect it to go up? Well, if we're just taking a look at the experts, at the nation as a whole, you can see a lot of them have very differing opinions. We have Goldman Sachs saying it's going to appreciate by 5%, MBA 4.1%, Zillow 3.5%, Fannie Mae 3.2%, Freddie Mac says 2.8%, HPES says 2.4%, NAR says 1.9%, and Realtor.com actually says it's going to depreciate by 1.7%. If we take all these into consideration and take the average, we're looking at an estimated appreciation of around 2.6% appreciation. Now, this is the nation as a whole. If we're looking at the St. George, Cedar City area, I would say that it's going to be within this 2.6 to 5% range. I don't think we're going to be coming lower here. I do think that we're going to be going up. However, We have to take so many things into consideration there. The economy, inflation, mortgage rates, all of these come into play as we are looking at what the home prices will do. So let's take a look at where our mortgage interest rates are headed, because that's going to be the greatest contributing factor to where home prices are headed. Now, mortgage rates tend to follow inflation, so I have jumped us into the US inflation rate so that you can see where we are currently sitting. Right now, the last update was December 2023 that they have showing in here. It is at 3.35%. You can see what it's done over the last year as inflation has gone down. So that gives you an idea as we're comparing 2023 to 2024, January year over year, how that inflation has gone down. It was almost double a year ago. Now you can see over here to the right that the Federal Reserve has a targeted 2% inflation rate. That's what they're trying to get back to. If we take a look at the 5-year inflation, we really haven't seen that since beginning of 2021, which is when we saw those home prices so high. Now, we know that inflation is a contributing factor to mortgage rates. In order to curb that inflation, the Federal Reserve will hike up the federal funds rate. However, as inflation has gone down over the last year, you can see that the federal funds rate had no change at the end of 2023. There was no change in September, there was no change in November, no change in December, and no change in January. Now, in not changing that, you can see our mortgage interest rate, and this is Freddie Mac's website, so we can kind of track where the 30-year fixed mortgage rate has been going. But you can see that has also started to trend down along with that inflation rate. So the three of those work together. Now, the Fed has paused these rates. We don't know if they're going to raise them again, but as long as they're not having any change and that inflation rate is continuing to trend down or stabilize, then we can expect mortgage interest rates to do the same. What that's going to look like this year, we can't really be sure, but if we take a look at some of the projections for mortgage interest rates that Fannie Mae, MBA, and NAR have put out, they're projecting that by the end of quarter 3, as an average from all three of them, that we're going to be sitting just under 6.5% interest rate. Now, currently, Freddie Mac is showing us at 6.69 as the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate. So if things keep going as they are, I can see that definitely happening, and hopefully we'll go even lower than that. Now, again, this is the market as of now. Everything can change. We never know what's going to happen in the economy, wars, all these things contribute. But it is good to have this information and to keep coming back and to track it so that you are familiar with the trends and you know the right time for you to sell or to buy your home. Now, with these mortgage interest rates, this is a national average. If you're going in to purchase a home, you can't bank on this. It's going to depend on your personal business profile. So for example, what's your debt to income ratio? What's your credit score look like? What do you have for a down payment? So if you are looking strong in all of those areas, then you're likely going to get a better interest rate. However, if those areas are a little dicey for you, I would expect on the higher end for the interest rate. So you can see there is a lot going on with the market, inflation, home prices. We do expect appreciation to happen. We do expect mortgage rates to kind of hang steady and hopefully go down this year. So if you are looking to buy or sell this year, make sure you are following this data and you are asking the right questions. If you're looking to buy or sell here in Southern Utah, my name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group and I would love to help you out. Please don't hesitate to call, text, or email me. My contact information is down below in the description. I look forward to hearing from you. All right, until next time, have a wonderful day.